Hi, everyone. I'm Leslyn Keith with Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project. And I'm here with my friends and colleagues to talk to you about what's new and coming up in lipedema. I'm here in rainy California, and here in my sunroom where it's 52 degrees. So I have my space heater on. Hope I'm going to be able to continue to talk to you through all the rain. But let's have everybody else say hi. First, start with Catherine.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here.
And Gail.
Hi, I'm Gail Straker. I'm the community manager for Lipedema Simplified. It is so good to see you on this beautiful sunny Idaho day.
Just to rub it in,
Gail. Cold and sunny.
And how about Siobhan?
Hello, everyone, and make sure everyone says hello and where you're from in the chat too, so that we can get those hello backs coming back at us.
Yes, and tell us what your weather is like where you are. and today we just wanted to start off really quick with we got a listener posted a question, so want some clarification, and so Catherine's gonna clarify to let everybody know what's happening.
So Paula sent this question in, and I just put it in the chat, but I'm gonna show it. Quite honestly, I'm very confused about what is going on. Can you please break it down for me, because I can't be the only one? Thanks for the question, Paula. Yes, we have a webinar coming up that Gail's going to tell you about, and I'm going to pull it up. That is a no-cost webinar. A lot of what we do is free. There is a 3-day event coming up at the end of the month. There is a cost to that. And Leslyn and Siobhan will tell you about that, and I'll show you, and we'll put the web page in. Hi, Stacy, Barb, Cynthia, Kara. Oh, nice.
And notice we got some other people in California saying it's raining.
Yeah.
The only one.
Carol, 6 inches of snow overnight in Wisconsin. Angela, in Georgia, cold and rainy. In the middle of... Oh, someone's in the middle of reading your book. In Michigan.
Good choice.
A couple people in Michigan. That's great. And you know what? It's nice having a rainy day reading. Our book club is looking at Tuesdays with Maury right now, so that's my rainy day reading.
Oh my God, that's such a good book. So I am going to
So yeah, while Catherine is posting that info, we have, as she said, a free webinar coming up. And actually, we've had a series of free webinars this month. So now you can see Catherine's screen. She's sharing it. Go ahead, Catherine.
No, Gail was going to go over this.
Okay, go ahead, Gail.
This is going to be me. So coming up on Monday, we are so lucky to have Brian Hayward and Veronica Rodriguez. Brian is a CBD consultant, fabulous. He explains why CBD is beneficial so often in helping with pain relief. And Veronica is going to talk about some of the physical, I think they're called comprehensive treatment, MLD, compression, and vibration plates and things like that. They're going to talk about how we can find pain relief. That's coming up on Monday, the 13th. And I want to say that's at 6 p.m. Eastern. We do have a link to sign up for that. Catherine, do you want me to put that in the chat, or can you do that?
Nope. When I'm sharing my screen, I can't. So if you can put it in, that would be great.
Okay, so I'll grab that. That's the limits of our of all of us working on this same technological masterpiece here that we're putting together for you. We have a link in there right now. You'll see it. It is going to come up. You can click on that and you can register. So this webinar is free. It's going to be just over an hour long. You'll have a chance to ask some questions of Brian and of Veronica. Veronica is a certified lymphatic therapist, and I'm sure that when you get there, you will be absolutely amazed at how much information you're going to get from this free webinar. And that's going to be on Monday. So
Great.
go over to your links, your comments, and hit that link that looks just like that, and sign up.
Okay. Thank you, Gail.
Thanks, Catherine.
And there is a reminder for me to get my COVID booster shot. Okay, so Gail, thank you, Gail. And Leslyn and Siobhan are going to go over our upcoming 3-day conference.
Yeah, and this is pretty neat because we usually don't have a screen up there so you can see the actual website. Siobhan and I think all of us have talked about this event that's coming up, but we haven't been able to show it to you. So this is cool. And so it is happening, as you can see there, March 31st, April 1 and 2, 3 days. And it is what we're calling a heart-to-heart collaborative virtual community event, because this is all happening online. Siobhan, take it away. What else would you like to say about this event?
Yeah, so it's very cool because a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is kind of what have we learned and what is there to learn. So we're going to be having a lot of great speakers. So I'll be speaking. Dave Feldman is going to be speaking. Everybody loves him. So, and it's just going to be kind of exploring this because we've learned so much about lipedema over the years, even just over the past couple of years. And there's a lot of stuff that we want to share back. There's stuff we learned within like the tribe and stuff like that. And now it can kind of be shared to a larger audience so that everybody can benefit from that. So you can see the speakers here: Matt Carmody, Catherine, Leslyn, me, Dave, Carrie Reedy. So some of the coaches through Lipedema Simplified as well. And then we'll also be having great breakout sessions for discussion and learning breathing techniques and a whole bunch of different stuff. So I'm super excited about it. And yeah, I always learn something from each event too. So it's like, oh, cool, a focused study session for me as well.
One thing I will add, because this has just been confirmed, Dr. Raprich was a speaker at our last event in October. He is very long-term working with lipedema patients. He's based in Frankfurt, Germany. And he was really one of the very first doctors to start doing liposuction for lipedema. And he's taught many of the doctors who are now doing it. He's coming for, it turns out that some videos that I had posted of him have gone viral. One has 11 million views and the other one has 7.4 million views and is getting just so much activity. We invited him to come, and he's doing a Q&A session on April 1st, which is the Saturday. And since he's in Germany, he's going to be doing it early here. So it's something, if you're even thinking about it, you're not going to want to miss it. So Leslyn.
Yeah, I wanted to add that you can see all those speakers that we have, but this event is unique. It's something that we've been doing for our last couple events. with Lipedema Awareness Day and our last 3-day event, that we're having it so it's very interactive. And so you can see all those great speakers and experts and patients and coaches that we have. But this event is designed for you to participate in a variety of ways. We're going to have a chat forum that you'll be able to post there. You'll be able to be in small groups and interact with the other attendees and the speakers. We'll have special Q&A sessions just to have discussions. We're going to have a workbook that it's an accompaniment to the event. So you'll be able to have a place to take notes, gather your thoughts, jot down ideas that you can then share with others. So there's going to be a lot of ways for you to participate and be a part of this event. So I highly suggest to go to this link, check it out, and see how you can join us.
And I'll just add really quickly that it's one of the only virtual events I've ever seen that manages to capture some of the special magic of in-person conferences, because there's so much of not just watching the presentations, but also getting together with the other attendees and just digesting them all together and making those types of connections. So I'm really happy we're doing this again.
Yeah, me too. So to answer Paula's question, the webinar on Monday is free. There is a charge for this, for the 3-day conference event. We're still on early bird promo. The early bird promo is ending on March 12th, which is the day before the webinar. And then we have another early bird promo for the next webinar coming up with a different bonus. But right now it's $97 instead of $297. You know, last year it was $297, which is what we were charging. And we wanted to make it more accessible. Some of the ladies said that's too much. So we cut it so that you can come to the event for $97 if you want replays. If you would like to, we have a VIP status that you can purchase, which is an additional $197. So it comes to the same amount. The only difference is you can purchase access to the event for $97, but that's live. I hope that's clear. Was that clear?
Right. So the event is totally different than the free webinar.
Yes.
Yes, two separate things.
Two separate things. And I have put both of them in the comments. I did label the one with the comments, with the event, the Heart2Heart event. You will March 31st, April 1st and 2nd. And then the other one is the webinar. So make sure that you keep those two separate in your thought. And I think that might be what's confusing to some of because we have two things going on.
Yes. And we have more than two things going on. Because we have another webinar coming up. And I'm not going to tell you about that one right now, because the 4 of us are going to do an open Q&A, which people have asked us for. So we said, perfect, which we're going to do the week before the event. We'll do an open Q&A, and it'll be a blast, because we have a blast, because we laugh a lot. I'm giving you one more thing, because someone asked about Dr. Raprich. You have to get it from here. Why did this not come out? Because you can't, it's YouTube. And the YouTube video is called, it's, here, let me do this. So when I first started this journey, I was looking for a magic bullet. and I thought surgery was going to be my magic bullet. Surgery helps, but you really need the whole package. You need all of the holistic approach that we talk about, even with surgery. But it's a long story, and I only want to say that I went into the operating room, many operating rooms. I was in a dozen different operating rooms, and I recorded the surgeries. And this is one of the surgeries that I recorded in pretty good detail. I consider Dr. Raprich probably the top surgeon for lipedema liposuction. I wanted him to do my surgery. He did not consider me a good candidate, so he said no. I was stubborn enough that I insisted, not with him, but I went to another doctor, and that doctor said no. And the third one ended up doing it, and it wasn't a good decision. I should have listened to the other two. But isn't it, what do they say? School of Hard Knocks? I was so stubborn. I was so stubborn. I was so determined. And two of the best doctors in the planet said, no, you shouldn't do this. So anyway, that's another webinar. That one will be free.
Yeah, and just real quick, I wanted to highlight a comment by Barb from a little bit earlier. She said, Leslyn and Siobhan, I just wanted to say you two did such a great job at Low Carb Denver. But yes, I smacked my head when Leslyn was told she should go listen to Siobhan's talk. So that comment was from Nadir Ali. And I guarantee it's because he looked at the schedule and saw my name because we know each other really well. He was like, oh, yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's seen my previous stuff where I talk about the lymphatics a little bit. But he is very super sweet and a very excellent cardiologist. So I can't fault him for promoting my talk to the other speaker.
You're a co-speaker.
Yeah. Well, Leslyn did watch my talk, so it
would have been, I should have said, oh, yes, I'll make sure that I do speak with Siobhan tomorrow. That could be taken a couple different ways. But yeah, I was asking if he'd ever considered the role that the lymphatics had in cholesterol and fat transport. And he didn't understand what I was saying. So I think it just highlights that we have some more work to do in the low carb community. So thanks, Barb.
Yeah, and luckily, Nader is very good at learning new things. So I'm sure he'll be super interested to see what could be learned from that and things he can apply to his own patients as well.
I remember Leslyn saying, oh, I'm going to Low Carb Denver and I'm going to get to meet Nadir Ali. I remember her saying that a few months earlier. So he met you and then suggested that you catch Siobhan's talk. That was really nice.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have a nice consult with Dr. Ali regarding my own cholesterol levels. And at that time, and this was months ago, I told him that, I was going to be there at Low Carb Denver. And he said, oh, looking forward to meeting you. But, I was one of probably hundreds of people that he did consultations with. So he didn't remember. He was much more important to me than I was to him. So.
We should get him a copy of your book, Leslyn.
So
Good idea. Good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah. I wanted to, there was one other exciting thing that I wanted us to talk about because for many of you, you may have experimented with what different foods do to you. And a very common thing is that women with lipedema may have an issue with dairy. And Siobhan has something really interesting to report on that aspect with her own experimentation. Again, this may not apply to you, but this is very interesting information. So Siobhan, if you could share that.
Yeah, so this is very preliminary. I'd like to give it at least another 6 months. But so for my own history, I didn't always have issues with dairy, but what happened is I did a high carb experiment and it did not go well. I did not know I had lipedema at the time, or I wouldn't have done it if I had access to that information. But it did end up causing what appears to be lipedema progression. So I gained fat in areas where I'm affected by lipedema. And it was not an insignificant amount for my height. And then I couldn't get it back off. And I did get some of it back off, but a lot of it I did not. And another thing that came along with that is right after that experiment, I started having issues with dairy. So I was not able to get satiated on it anymore. It would make me it would cause weight gain if I had it too often. It would also cause acne and mood issues, basically all the signs of a food that does not work for me. And before that experiment, I could tolerate it fine. I had an entire year, the first year of carnivore was all pork chops and cream cheese, like every single day. And I lost weight on that and felt great. So it was only after this experiment that I started having issues. And so for almost 6 months at this point, I've been seeing a lymphatic therapist, and we've been doing a lot of work on manual lymph drainage, but then also fibrosis breakdown in terms of addressing just the overall health of the fat tissue, not necessarily the nodules, but just making sure overall the fat is squishy, not full of basically like callousing or scarring, and opening up pathways within the lymphatics, because it seemed like I was having a lot of swelling in my calves. So I would swell and then it would get stuck. So we specifically focused on those areas and a bunch of other stuff. And my boyfriend has been in the country and he eats a ton of dairy. So for the past almost month and a half, I had reintroduced dairy because I have zero willpower with dairy. And then something unexpected happened, which is that I wasn't gaining weight. I didn't have acne flare-ups. I didn't have swelling flare-ups, which my lymphatic therapist actually confirmed. That I wasn't getting excess swelling, even though I was having dairy. And previously, it would cause issues that she would notice. No mood issues or anything like that. I'm getting satiated on it. Like, it's just like it was before the experiment, which is like, whoa. And the only thing I can think of that has changed, because the high carb experiment was in July of 2019. So this was several years ago. So it's not like I just waited it out and it corrected itself. Is that I've been doing all of this work to improve my lymphatic health and improve the tissue in my legs. And so I think what might have started happening after that experiment is that experiment caused lipedema progression, which messed with my lymphatic health. And then dairy was causing flares. And because of those issues, it wasn't able to compensate anymore. And then that fluid in my legs that couldn't get moved out properly was causing weight gain. And one thing I had actually done at one point was I got body composition scans, both when I had regularly been eating dairy and when I had gone off for a while. And the weight loss was about half fluid and half fat. So it seems like that is fairly plausible. But essentially, it seems like kind of reversing the damage that I might have done and improving that lymphatic health and making sure I'm not having fluid stuck on my legs when having dairy, making sure my body can compensate, has restored some level of dairy tolerance again. So again, this is still preliminary. I want to wait like 6 months to a year and make sure it doesn't reverse on me again. But I've been weight stable. I've been feeling really, really good. I've been having dairy every single day, and sticking with my normal high fat. So fingers crossed the effect sticks, but so far it seems like I'm actually gaining tolerance, which is awesome and really interesting if you think about it a little. So that's my news.
I think it's interesting that our tolerances, just like our preferences, can change over our lifetime. So if you had issues for something, as a child, or you hated to eat a certain type of food as a child, that, you know, can change as an adult. And for you, it might have even changed in a matter of, you know, 3 years, 4 years. So it's always, you know, it's worth always checking in. I know that I look at dill pickles and gosh, that just looks so good. And I keep trying it and go, nope, I still don't like them. So you know what? So, but, you know, experiment and see, you know, see if your tastes and your tolerances change, and see if you can enjoy other varieties of foods, because it could happen.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. And I do know some people who've gained tolerance when their health improved. So it's not unheard of for me to hear of this happening. It's exciting for me to potentially be experiencing it. And it also makes me think, oh, maybe this relates to other dietary intolerances with lipedema. Maybe it has to do with lymphatic function and swelling flares and compensation and all this type of stuff. But the other thing I think is really important is that I wasn't sure when I started MLD if what I could do personally in terms of my budget and just my time, because I work a full-time job and then I also volunteer through the Lipedema project. So the amount of free time I have is not a lot, which meant that I could only do MLD 1 session a week. And I had talked to other people in the lipedema community, and they're like, well, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. And that's what I've been doing over the past 6 months. So I am earlier stage. I'm only stage 1, so very early in. And overall, I feel like I'm really healthy, especially compared to like 6.5 years ago before I went keto. So I think my body's in a really good spot to be making these types of improvements. But the once a week has actually resulted in a lot of improvement over time. And I'm still getting improvements. Like each time it's like, oh, your leg swelling is a little bit more symmetrical, or there's less swelling overall, or I haven't been experiencing that calf swelling as much or at all for long periods of time. And so all of this stuff is kind of adding up in a very cool way. So that just to say, like, if you do have those kind of budget and time limitations, maybe just try it out and see if it actually is helpful. It's kind of like the compression thing. Like the best compression is the compression that you wear. Maybe the best MLD is the amount that you can do.
And I will say that topics just like this, the various things that Siobhan has been talking about, are going to be happening at our 3-day event.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's like 4 different certified lymphatic therapists that are going to be speaking, and they're going to be talking about all the different aspects of care of what a therapist would do for you, what a medical provider, and what you could do for yourself at home, including MLD and a complete decongestive therapy and all the various things you can do at home. And of course, we'll be having people talk about dietary concerns as well. So to learn more about this and how to experiment on yourself, like Siobhan's talking about, definitely check into our 3-day Heart2Heart event. What's a fresh look at, or is it a fresh take? I always say
a fresh take.
A fresh take on
put the
lipedema solutions.
I put the wrong link in there. Let me
Okay.
put the right link again. Well, it's okay. I put the free webinar, and here is the event. I'm putting it in.
And we'll definitely be talking about these exact topics because part of this is in my presentation.
And can I say also that, do you see that lovely sweater that Siobhan is wearing? She made that.
Yes, I made this.
And she finished it at Low Carb Denver. And I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And she's part of, what is that group that you're part of, Siobhan, that you're doing all these kind of creative things?
What is it called? Igniting inspiration, or igniting, Gail, I bet you know better than I do.
Igniting the spirit.
Igniting the spirit. There we go. Igniting something.
Igniting the spirit. Artsy fartsy craft and chat.
Also known as. But yeah, it's a bunch of lipedema people get together that are in the tribe, and we get to share all of the crafty stuff we're doing and the creation stuff we're doing. and we get to celebrate stuff like making sweaters or doing Zen doodles. Zen tangles.
Right.
Yeah.
And Christmas tree ornaments and whatever. We meet once a month and share some of the stuff that we do, and that's in the tribe community.
Mm-hmm.
So just one of the little things that we do to stick together. So we're going to have to. Are you waving to us to say goodbye, Catherine?
Yes, we have a meeting.
We do have a meeting a minute ago. So
Yes. So
Leslyn, take it.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We always love being with you on every Friday. And with that, we're going to sign off and see you next Friday. Bye, everybody.
Right, see ya.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.